don't care what they're going to say. Let the storm rage on. The cold never bothered me anyway.
That's another thing we need to do. Karaoke.
Yep,
for
absolutely. Sure. I've still got those videos of the karaoke stuff that you like wouldn't let me post. I need to we need to get into a fight so I can post you drunkenly singing Mambo No. 5.
I wasn't that drunk.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, that's not good then. Spawning in the bottom right side. He's going for an early gas. He's going for an early pull. He wants to try and turn the heat up here versus Soulkey on this very cold map. It is going to be Dust Gaming SteAdfaSt.
It's exciting when your name is in the song, alright? In the top left, as the blue Zerg, it is Soulkey. It is!
Yeah, I really should at least find that one part and post it, because basically it's her in tempo singing Mambo No. 5, and the line comes on, it's like a little bit of Jessica in my life, and Zombie Grub is just like, oh my god, that's my name! And she gets so excited while doing the karaoke, and she's like, Jessica! It's too funny. It's too good. You know, though, actually, some of you guys may know her on Twitter. You may have seen the cookies she's made for many of these events. Rika P was actually a really good singer. She was doing, like, the Japanese version of, like, Sailor Moon.
She's Japanese, and she was just, like, so on point.
We're all sitting there, like, just, like, being drunk and terrible. She was just, like, nailing it.
And Olivia was there, right? Because we tried to sing GG Baby.
Yeah. The only thing I really felt confident in was when we were doing the, Barbie Girl, whatever that was. Yo,
that is my go-to jam. But then I remember we also did.
Come on, Barbie, let's go party.
Ow, ow, ow. Okay. What is that song that Bruno Mars? Come on, we sang it. That was the last song we sang, and we all danced to it.
Oh, Uptown Funk.
Yes, thank you, Uptown Funk. It's like, people always play that for karaoke. Things are about to get interesting, though. This was a pure all-in from SteAdfaSt, Bailiness, and Speed alike, and Soulkey only recently got wind of it by seeing the link to his Overlord. He didn't have an ideal response.
I mean, this is something that's normally hard to deal with if you've got the wrong build for it, but Soulkey's macro really didn't, like, overtake anything here. He's got Lings out, he's got Queens out. There was no cutting corners for him, so for SteAdfaSt, the one thing I worry about now moving forward is his Bailing control wasn't so hot last time we saw it. We'll see if it's any better this game. Using it for hopefully to keep Soulkey's Lings at bay, but goes off some of the larvae. It's not a terrible alternate choice. Queens are not going to break on this ramp though, and SteAdfaSt is already pretty much out of juice, because if these queens don't die, there we go, they have to die, or the transfuses will end up winning out at the end. That Bailing misses, it's hit unfortunately, and leaves SteAdfaSt with a small amount of Lings. He's going to try and get a couple more up. Soulkey does have his own Bailing nest now, but I think he's questioning how he wants to spend his money, as only 2 are coming down.
I think he sees, like, well, I guess he doesn't see the Banelings morphing, but how few Lings there are left over. So Banelings aren't necessarily that important. If it's going to be Banelings versus Banelings, it's more about sniping with the Queens. And this Queen is going to get sniped. But, okay, that Baneling hit wasn't so bad, but that is all of his Banelings. So once again, SteAdfaSt is having to wait, and that gives Soulkey more time to make Banelings, to make Lings.
He's up a base, he's up drones. Unfortunately, it's SteAdfaSt who has failed us all in with this game. And while there are some players out there like Bly, who we constantly refer to with his determination and stubbornness, I don't think either of those factors would help SteAdfaSt in this particular instance, at least. I applaud the effort, just not the execution, and yeah, I guess he's trying to take a natural base back at home. If he wants to try and play macro, he's really not too far behind on drones. But that base is a lot of larvae being lost. He doesn't really have a ton of defense if Soulkey decides to turn on the all-in himself.
Yeah, that's the one fear. But, you know, not for a while does SteAdfaSt have to be worried about that. Because, I mean, pretty rare that they'll actually go across the map with Lings. But, okay, it's going to happen. And his Overlord does see that. So he has to make defensive Banelings. He's getting an Evolution Chamber, maybe to go for drops later? No Overlord's in quite in position, though.
I would think +1 Carapace more than that, but we'll see. I was going to say, though, I love Twitch's response to you. I wasn't that drunk is never a good defense for anything. And that's pretty accurate. That's pretty accurate.
I prefer the ZG's Tombstone.
I like that he spelled it out too, like ZG, like with 4 E's.
Yeah, that's been happening ever since yesterday morning when I said I prefer to go by my online name, ZG.
Yo, I've never even, being what I am, and I always have to fight saying Zed, because I know we have a lot of American listeners, I've never said ZG. Like, so I don't know why
thank
they
you.
need to find that differentiation, right? Because if I was saying ZG all the time, then I'd understand. You'd be like, no, we're going to ZG.
I honestly don't know, but I noticed it all, like, because I was watching Scarlet in the morning yesterday, and
yeah, I know, it was really freaking annoying.
I know. When I said that that's what I preferred, suddenly everyone was calling me ZG, like, spelled out, so I don't know if that's where the meme was created, or...
Maybe you got a bad case of the butt dragons, where it's just going to be what people type, whether you like it or not.
I prefer this over butt dragon, thank you.
What do you like better, butts or boobs?
Butts.
Yeah,
you should know this.
Butt dragon. There you go. Okay, so here's the problem I've actually found with this, right? So I think a lot of people would say butts. Okay, fine. Maybe there's a couple people say boobs. But the follow-up question that gets really difficult is, then what do you prefer? Mermaid, or in your case, merman, top half fish, bottom half human, or bottom half fish, top half human?
I hate this question.
I know, I hate it too, because if you pick butts like I do, you obviously want to say bottom, but then you realize you have like a fish
no.
top half.
See, because when you say boobs or butt, you're thinking of like, what do you like looking at more? At least I am, okay?
Well,
but when you're thinking about like what you're feeling up, you know, then I think it's gonna be boobs.
Well, unfortunately, either way, you get half a fish, and at the end of the day, that's never a good thing. Lots of banelings coming in with these roaches. I love the attempts for spine crawlers out of SteAdfaSt. They're not going to finish in time, however, and unfortunately, banelings will bust those as well. So, not a chance here on the defense. And that's going to be game one here for Soulkey, but not yet. Oh, by the way, I want to point out, was Carapace?
Huh? Okay.
You know, right, another one in my journal. Rifkin knows what he's talking about.
April 12th.
April 12th at 4:59 p.m. Pacific. Thank you, by the way, to Slegger, who resubbed for 15 months during that game. But let's get into game number 2 here. So the winner of this will, of course, go on to their qualifying match. What is highly anticipated to be Soulkey versus Tang Tang, but we might see an upset with Sugar or something along those lines. But either way, it's kind of funny because for the Korean qualifiers, we actually didn't see Soulkey play at all, or Tang Tang. The Korean qualifiers that I cast yesterday had, again, very little actual Koreans in them, so it's kind of interesting to see them come out for the North American side, and I'm wondering if these guys did this intentionally to game the brackets a little bit, thinking that they'll have an easier time fighting players like, say, Puck or otherwise, rather than Patience or Zest type thing. Yeah. Actually, Zest is not in this tournament, Patience is, so I should probably reference those, but, yeah. Either way, we'll get game 2 up here in a moment. Did they whisper you lobby, by the way, or...?
Yeah, he squeezed it in before that game ended, or began, sorry.
It's like, that's what he does. He's like, the reason he's not tapping out is because he's like whispering you, oh, by the way, the next map is going to be... Alright, Runes of Endion for game number 2. Gonna hop into it, and now we got the BaseTradeTV Graphs mod back. Woo! See you guys here in just a sec. Alright, I'm gonna read you guys a message that has no context whatsoever from Oli Moly, where she says... Neat! Tempo gave birth to a pig.
Oh, that. Yeah. Yeah, I was really confused. I thought maybe you did something on stream.
Yeah, same. I was like, what's she talking about? But she's referring to a game which she named one of her animals after Tempo. So, love, love, love Stardew Valley. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, we're getting into game number 2 here for the ASL Prime Season 6 North American qualifiers. This winner of the series will move on to fight in the qualifying match. So, spawning down here on the bottom left side, he is fighting for his life, but without an early pull this time. It's going to be Dust Gaming's SteAdfaSt. Holding SteAdfaSt.
The bottom right, as the red Zerg, it is Soulkey.
You okay? I was gonna bring something up, and you just started like.
I'm fine.
Those are the creepy laughs. You're like.
Okay, you go.
Well, I was just gonna mention that I like. What do you do? Now I'm laughing for no reason. Why do you do this to me? It was better when you were gone. Go back on vacation. I was gonna say SteAdfaSt. I like that he doesn't go for cheese this time. I was actually kind of worried that if we saw him cheese twice in a row, it would just, to me, read as just he really wasn't confident coming into the matchup, and he was just trying anything he thought could maybe get him a quick win. And it does all the time. I mean, God knows, Bly vs. Nurchio. I didn't really talk about this on stream, but when Bly beat Nurture in the Corsair Cup recently, he was ecstatic on Skype. He says, I never, ever, ever thought I would beat Nurture 3-0. And he did so with, like, very different builds. So I like seeing some variety out of SteAdfaSt, but it is, again, even players who are notorious for cheesing don't always have to cheese. So I like that. I'm not saying he is, but I like to see that we got at least another type of build and another attempt coming out of SteAdfaSt.
Yeah. On one hand, is unfortunate though. Like Ruins is one of these maps where you can try and early pool and break down the rocks to kind of like lessen the counter if it does fail. Like it doesn't work. So, I guess the other hand, to start off with an early pool seems to be SteAdfaSt's way to go, at least. He did it in the last ZvZ as well. And that can add a lot of momentum if you get that early lead. This is just going to be a macro game, I think, because Soulkey is already breaking down his rocks. So even though SteAdfaSt's getting a Baneling Nest, I don't think he's really going to be able to use it.
No, but he does take a third. I mean, this was taken before the rocks were scouted and revealed, but what's kind of interesting for Soulkey is not only does he scout this, but how does he plan to deal with it? I would imagine you knock down these rocks because you want to get towards something like Mutalisks. If SteAdfaSt has realized that maybe that's an opportunity he can take care of, one of the really interesting things about macro over micro is just how good Mutalisks will win out in that scenario, so you don't have to worry about getting those perfect Baneling hits or having Lings in position or not.
Mm-hmm. This, honestly looked like the most obvious way to play this map when I first looked at it. You break down the rocks, and then you go for Mutalisk. Especially in ZvZ, maybe not so much for the other matchups, but even still, that could be an effective method. It's close by air, you got the whole middle face thing going on, where they won't be able to really chase after you, especially without their own mutas. So, I just always thought this would be the way to go. What makes it so different, interesting than other maps that have, collapsible rocks is that the third is not obstructed because of it. So, even though it goes for the rocks and it goes for the 2-base lair, he also goes for a third base. But it's not going to be Mutas. It is going to be a Roach Warren. So, honestly surprising, because even if he was getting it just for defense, it would feel unnecessary with the rocks being broken down. But it's more than just for defense. He's getting the +1 as well. And SteAdfaSt is only behind on the lair now.
I mean, it's not by much, though, either. Because, again, I want to really draw attention to what is the drone count, I think, more than anything else. With a decent drone count, you can produce a lot, but, Soulkey.
Yeah, I like SteAdfaSt today, I guess.
This, what I look at, and I guess we never considered, is there's a lot of dead space in the main. And really no reason for SteAdfaSt to have an Overlord over there. You're thinking more about the middle of the map, or even like around these rocks. Like, you're not thinking that the Night Storm is going to be hitting you in your main, and you'll be caught off guard. And this could actually be a very abrupt, disappointing end for poor SteAdfaSt if he's not aware of this. Because there's no scouting going on in the main. There's no Overlords or Overseers with speed. Like, he's not going to see this coming until I fear it's already too late.
Yeah.
In fact, Soulkey's not even being subtle about it. He just puts it right down in front of him.
Yeah. The drones are being pulled, and, honestly, if SteAdfaSt, he only droned 9 more drones than Soulkey. He's not being super greedy. He's getting roaches, and now, of course, he's getting more roaches as he sees the Nidus Worm. There have been holds before, even if you don't scout it, but this is not one of those games. He started roaches later. The Queens help out a lot. Instant reinforcements.
This splits SteAdfaSt as well, who actually might have, with Defender's Advantage, made enough roaches, but unfortunately, half will come up here, the other half will come out from the other 2 bases, and he'll never really be able to engage Soulkey head-on, but Soulkey will always fight SteAdfaSt with all of his army.
Oh, wow.
Spine Crawlers actually being built on location. He's going to try and focus down the Nidus Worm, but this transfuses to keep that alive. Soulkey saying, no thank you, sir.
Yeah, that's going to be a quick 2-0. Soulkey's going to go on to the qualifying round now.
I want to say, though, this is really surprising to see out of Soulkey. I mean, he's been doing weirder tactics against other Koreans, so this isn't anything to do with disrespect. I mean, he was one of those doing Overlord drops and other things, but I'm just surprised he busted out a Nidus Worm, period.
Seems so old, I guess. Like, Nidus Worm all-ins were a thing of 3 months ago. We saw it every single game, and then it really fell off.
Well, either way, congratulations to Soulkey, who will move on to the qualifying match where he will play against either Tang. Oh, actually, bracket's already advanced. He'll play versus Tang Tang. So there you have it. We'll be casting that one next. Soulkey versus Tang Tang. Korean versus Korean.
Okay.
Okay, we'll hop into that one next. We're going to go to a commercial break while we do, and we'll see you guys here in a couple of minutes. Thanks for watching.